Hello everyone, making a late night video because today has been pretty eventful. Apologize ahead of time if you can hear the chirp chirp in the background, which is a common joke now with my videos because we live where maintenance people do not want to change the batteries and I do not have a ladder tall enough to reach the fire alarm that keeps beeping. Reminds me much of the episode of Friends where Phoebe tries to kill her fire alarm. So, apologies ahead of time. A month or so ago, I posted that we had found an answer that was causing my pain and was causing some of my symptoms, and that was Crohn's disease. I got referred to see a GI doctor, and we actually found that I do not have Crohn's disease, thank goodness. Or at least not yet. My blood work all came back normal and all of the tests came back fairly good results. They did a biopsy of my small intestine and large intestine. They did find a large polyp in the colon during the test. That was actually 1 centimeter and slightly bigger than 1 centimeter, which just according to my research is when things can start to become abnormal. And so when he did the test, he did warn me that it was abnormal to be only 30 and to have that large of a polyp, but that things looked okay and to not stress. So for 2 weeks, I've been on a new medication called Bentyl, and it actually has helped the symptoms almost perfectly. So he's continuing that medication. I still have this one spot of pain, and so I mentioned it to the GI doctor, and we're under the assumption after the numerous tests that I've undergone the past 6 months that it is just the mesh from my hernia repair, and it's only going to go away if I ever have plastic surgery or if a doctor decides that it's bothered me long enough to go in and fix it. So it probably won't be for a while, but at least I do have doctors willing to work with me when the pain is at its worst. The biggest event, though, at the doctor's appointment today was that the polyp that they removed when biopsied was found to have cancerous cells present. And so the way my doctor broke it to me was, well, all of your biopsies except for one came back perfectly fine. The one that did come back does show some cancer. Therefore, you will now have to have colonoscopies very frequently for the rest of your life, and this may come back. You are probably going to be a polyp problem, and those polyps may continue to come back cancerous. They may come back benign, but this time I had cancer and didn't even know it. And it's kind of, I'm thrilled, and I feel blessed. And I feel prayers were answered. It's just kind of when you dodged a bullet that you didn't even know was fired at you. I don't know how to process it. I've been through a lot in my life. Trauma, abuse, illness, loss, everything that many of you probably have as well. And I always seem to come out barely missing the worst that could happen or things turning around at the very last minute. And I don't always feel very deserving of that. I feel like there's some big billboard in neon lights telling me that I'm supposed to be doing something with all of this that's happened to me and that I'm just not reading it, that it's in another language. That I don't understand why I keep getting these near misses and almost and, brink of disaster events in my life. With Jalen, my daughter, they didn't think she would walk, talk, sit, and while she's still not fully speaking, she's trying and she's getting better, and, she's currently in a contest to hopefully win some products that will help her advance her development, but we almost were at the worst that could be, and then she just turned it around and she's just a living, breathing miracle. And here my doctor tells me that if I didn't have gastric bypass, probably wouldn't be here 5 years from now, because I wouldn't have been having the stomach problems that I was having, and therefore they wouldn't have done a colonoscopy, and that polyp would have continued to grow and the cancer would have spread. And since colon cancer doesn't have physical symptoms until it's in its later stages, it would have been too late. So I've got not just a bullet, but a bullet train that was headed right for me, and I missed it, thankfully. But processing that has just been a little difficult because I don't feel deserving of having missed it. I feel fortunate. I feel grateful. I know who to thank for it, but I don't feel like I deserve it. I feel like there's something I'm missing, that I'm supposed to be doing something with all of these near misses, and I don't know what it is. And maybe it's simply just to continue talking to you, whoever the collective you is. I don't know. But I'm okay, and I hopefully will just continue to get better. The medication works, thank goodness. So on a daily basis, I do feel much better. I do feel like my iron, that the infusion that I got worked. I'll find out next week how well it worked and how well I held on to it. So I'll keep you updated on the almost and near misses that seem to continue to come my way, and I make it through it. And I'll just continue to try and figure out why that is. Have a good night.